All right, what's up, guys? It has been a long time. I have been pretty dang busy. So, I had my birthday, I had my daughter's birthday, then my girlfriend's family came in town and stayed with us for like a month. So, I apologize for the long delay, but I am back now. Hopefully, I can get back on track and start putting out continuous content for you guys. But, anyways, also been through a huge bad run, so I'll try and get better about just recording through those because my problem is I go on a bad run, then I turn my camera off and I get tilted, and then I'm just trying to come back and get even. So I'll try and do better on that. But anyways, let's get into the video. There's some good hands. I hit a straight flush in this video as well. So hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into those hands. All right, guys, it does feel good to be back. I hope you're all having an amazing day. There's a $5 button start on this hand, looking down at 5-7 offsuit. We get a caller from the big blind. I raised it up to $25, mainly because the dealer 5-7 is her favorite hand, so I was just kind of messing around. Hijack gives us a call, and that is going to be it. We will be going heads up to this flop. Yeah, you don't have to play 5-7, but like I said, it's a dealer's favorite hand, and I was just kind of messing around. Flop comes out 8-6 ace, which is a very good flop because we flop open-ended, and I can represent the ace since I raised pre-flop. I lead out for $25. She thinks about it for a second and then throws in the 25. We have 110 in the pot and the amazing bink. 9 of hearts on the turn gives us a straight. I bet 50, continuing the story that I have in ace. Before I was hoping she didn't. Now I'm praying that she does. She calls the $50 and the river changes absolutely nothing. It is the jack of diamonds. I mean, I guess 7-10 is there, but it was there before anyway, so I bet $100. She checks her cards, thinks about it for a second before folding. I show the table that I am in fact playing like a donkey. And yeah, taking down $210 pot to start the night. Let's move on to the next hand. Okay, guys, looking down from the button here, I see a 5-6 of clubs, middle position to raise it up to $15. With a premium like this, I'm not going anywhere. I do like these suited connectors. You don't have to play them, but when I have position, I tend to lean towards calling, especially when it's like 15. If he does like 20, I probably get away. But flop comes out a jack 10-7 rainbow. It goes check, check. Turn comes the deuce of clubs, giving us a flush draw. So when he checks, I feel obligated to bet. I bet $20, hoping he has like, a pair of 9s, something like that. I can get fold with 2 streets of aggression. River comes the king of hearts. Unfortunately, I did not hit my flush, so I have to follow through with the plan. I bet $55. He thinks about it for a second, not too long before he puts in the call. That is $180 we will never see again. Goodbye. He actually had ace king and bink the king, so good for him. Missed the flush. Is what it is. On to the next hand. Yeah, for the last hand, unfortunately, I was hoping at a pair of 9s or something. He floated with ace-king, got there on the river, and that's poker sometimes. But this is an Omaha hand. I have $5 on the button. Look down and see 10, jack, 7, queen double suited. A very good hand and very well connected, as well as being double suited makes it extremely dangerous for people. We get 5 callers. Action gets back to me. I pot it and make it $35 in total, because I like my hand. It is one of those hands where you're either going to smash the flop or you are not, and you pretty much know where you're at throughout the whole hand. So I have no problem with this play. I think it's good, and everyone else agrees with me because all of them make the call as well. Yep, we have $210 in the pot before we even see a flop. That's insane. Flop comes out, and it is not too bad. It is 4-7-10 rainbow. So there's a spade out there. We have a backdoor flush draw, but more importantly than that, we flop 2 pair. Under the gun, pots it, and this is where the action kind of slows down. So we do get a fold from the middle position player, but once it gets to the hijack, he goes into the tank. I'm sorry, I think it's the cutoff the tanks, but yeah. So this cutoff player is taking forever. And honestly, in my position, I'm just praying he calls. I love my hand. I have top 2 pair. I'm basically fading a set of 4s. I guess he could have a set of 10s, set of 7s, but that's very unlikely since I block both of those. So yeah, I'm pretty much fading a set of 4s. And if he has a set of 4s, then you know what? take my money. It's not my night at the poker table. Sometimes that's how it is, and sometimes you just have to lose. You know, you can't win in poker all the time. Trust me, like I said, I've been going through a huge losing streak lately, and it has been painful. Unfortunately, I don't have videos for those. And to the people who are going to be like, oh, you don't post losing videos, check my channel. I post losing videos all the time. I call for $145. We discuss how we want to do it. We're going to be going twice. But yeah, I don't know what it is, man. I have no problem saying when I play bad, but I've just been running bad. Like, I'm getting aces, kings, queens, all in one night, cracked, flopping a straight, getting that sucked out on. It's just been crazy. First run out comes 8-9, so we have Jack Queen for the nut straight. Second run out is 7-9, so we have 10-7 for a full house. I announce my hand, let him know where I'm at, put it face up, and he flips over his we are good and we are scooping. He had 10-4 for top and bottom pair, and he was pretty much sucking the hind tit the entire time. So we will be scooping this $500 pot up into the cheese after that bluff that did not get through. Feels good, and we will be moving on to the next hand. Hopefully I'll bluff it all off and we continue to have some run good. All right, guys, look down and see 6-7 of clubs from the hijack. I raise it up to $10. Button ends up making the call. Small blind decides $10 isn't quite enough, so he's going to raise it up to 30 whole doll hairs. Action does get back around to me, and once again, with 6-7 suited connectors, the button's playing as well. 3 people in the pot. Small blind player does have around like 500. He just reloaded, so he's got quite a bit of money, and so does the button player. I'm going to make the call for $30. Button player doesn't think about it too long before he throws in the chips and calls as well. We will be going 3 ways to this flop, and I gotta tell you, it's a pretty good flop. 3, 5, 8 with 2 clubs. We flop open-ended with the flush draw, so small blind leads out for $55, and I think I have a couple options here. I can either raise or I can just call. Obviously, folding is just out of the question. The only problem with raising is if he ships it, then we're kind of having to go with the hand. So it is what it is. I'm an aggressive player. I raise it up to 150. He does announce all in. He's got around $380, something like that. So I snap call, I'm never going anywhere. And we decide to go twice. The first run out comes the 9 of clubs and the 10 of clubs. And then it's the 10 and the 8 on the next run out. We went runner for a straight flush. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of clubs is a straight flush. I actually thought I lost at first sight because he has the jack of clubs. He has jack 8 offsuit. He raised to 30 with jack 8 offsuit, hit top pair, put all his money in the middle. This is a good game. But yeah, I saw he had the jack of clubs and I thought I was getting scooped. I was like, wow, how'd I lose? But fortunately, everyone else on the table is smarter than me. They saw the straight flush, and I'm taking down half the pot. So look down the next hand after hitting that straight flush and chopping, and I see pocket queens of the red variety. I raise up to $15. Not much analysis needs to go into this. It's pocket queens. Small blind makes the call, and the big blind player raises it up to $60. I'm happy he did this because I have pocket queens, but I'm also kind of like, oh man, is this going to be a flip? Does he have ace king? Am I dominating him? Does he have, ace queen, maybe pocket jacks, something like that? I see he has green chips, so I ask him how many he has. He has 400. He has 4 of them, which makes $100. So at this point, I've kind of made it up in my mind that I just have to go all in and let the chips fall where they may. Hopefully it doesn't have kings or aces, and hopefully if it is a flip, we win. I announce all in, so all my chips go into the middle. Small blind player gets out of the way, and the big blind player makes the call for $190. This is the point in the hand where I ask him what he has, or he asked me, I forgot exactly how it went down, but he said he's either ahead or we're tied. And I was like, we're definitely not tied. Your aces are good. I have pocket queens. We decided to go 2 full boards, and I'm just praying for one of the 2 remaining queens. Oh man, why do we always run into aces? $395 in the middle. Every face card except for the fucking queen. Go figure. GG to my opponent. $395 coming your way. Couldn't crack aces this time. And yeah, been a bit of a roller coaster. Really wish I would have ripped that last hand for $500 pot. Pay the man his money. On to the next one. All right, guys, in the big blind, look down and see Queen 10 offsuit. Middle position to raise it up to $10. Queen 10 offsuit, not the best hand in the world, but once the cutoff calls and the small blind makes the call, I feel like I'm getting the right price. And once again, it's one of those hands where either I hit or I don't. I can get away pretty easily if I do not. So I make the call, 4 ways to a flop. Flop comes out 6, 7, 8 with 2 spades. Not a great flop, but not the worst in the world. And when action checks all the way around, I have some evil intentions in mind. Turn comes and it's the 4 of diamonds. I feel like that will be in my range more than it will be in anyone else's. The 5, that is. So I bet $35. Cutoff asks how much it is and then puts in the call. Small blind player gets out of the way. And we're going to be going heads up to a river. Since he didn't raise, I don't think he has a 5, and I think he's on a flush draw. So when the 6 of clubs comes on the river, I feel like I have no other choice but to bet at this, and that is what I do. I bet $85. I feel like that's a fair amount. It should get any non-believing 8. Obviously, flush draw with 2 overs should be folding. But when he reaches for chips and decides eventually that $85 is a fair price and he is going to call, just can't have anything go my way, it seems. He puts in the call. I let him know he's good. $340 going my opponent's way. He flips over his cards. He actually had the straight, which was very surprising to me. But you live and you learn. On to the next one. I have officially started to spiral, guys. I have about $100 after dwindling down to nothing. Decide to start off for $10 because putting 10% of my stack before even seeing my cards into the middle just seemed like a good idea at the time. Look down and see Big Lick 9-6 offsuit. Cutoff raises it up to $35. Our buddy on the button makes the call. And this is when I decide to spring my trap. That's right, trapping with 6-9 offsuit. Go all in for $106. We are counting every single penny on this one because, yeah, it's just, I just wanna, I wanna win. I wanna win. Cutoff makes the call. Action gets back to the button player. And at this point, I have 6-9 offsuit. I don't care who's in there. Just put your money in. Maybe I get triple up. Maybe I get stacked and then I get to reload. It's hard to believe that this is the same session where I made a straight flush. Button makes the call. So we are going 3 ways with myself being all in. They have action on the side to a flop. And guys, if you're playing 9-6, it's not too bad to see a 3-4-5 flop. I got to be honest with you. Flop open-ended, feeling like I hit the world, feeling like I hit the gin card. Goes check, check. Turn is the ace of diamonds. And the cutoff decides to bet $100. Gonna need to hit. Button makes a fold. We decide to go twice. 5 up top and an ace on bottom. I let him know that he is good. I have absolutely nothing. He says I'm good. I flip over my cards. I have 9-6. He actually had 8-6. We scoop this pot with 9 high. We beat his 8 high on each board. 320 coming my way. Don't call it a comeback, boys. All right, so that last hand is a little bit wild. Winning with 9 high, $300+ pot. It always feels good. This one's going to be a little more traditional. There is a $10 button straddle. Few people end up making the call. Action gets back around to the button player, who has been the action player of the table outside of myself, I would say. He raises it up to $50 in total. Now, we have a table full of degens, so of course the 3 players that called the $10 are going to call the raise to $50 because that's just how we roll. We all make the call, $200 in the middle, and at this point in time, I am just praying to see a deuce on the flop, and would you believe it? That's exactly what happens. Deuce 3 queen is the flop. Flop bottom set. Can't be mad at that. In fact, I'm ecstatic. Haven't hit a set all night. Feels like I haven't hit a set in a million years, so it feels very good to hit a set. Button player bets $100. I have about 210 in my entire stack, so when the other 2 players fold, I don't see any other choice other than to go all in right here and right now. So that's what I do. I ship all of my chips into the middle. It's only 110 more for him to call. I don't see how you can fold. There is probably at this point, $400 in the pot. It's only 110 more to call. He's getting an insane price. If he has a queen, he's got to call. If he has kings, aces, he has to call. He pretty much has to call with his entire range outside of a bluff. He makes the call, puts in another $110. We discuss what we're going to do. Me and this player go twice all the time, so that's what we're going to do this time as well. I let him know I have a set. He says I'm drawing dead. He did have a queen, so he wasn't drawing dead. He just needed runner outs. Unfortunately for him, they did not come. The 6 and king up top and 4 and deuce on bottom did not give him anything. However, I did get quads on the bottom, so I've hit quads and a straight flush this video, and somehow I'm just now getting into Profitsville. $620 pot coming my way. Let's move on to the last hand to see how we end up doing for the night. All right, y'all, the final hand is going to be an Omaha hand, and it is a beautiful starting Omaha hand. There's $5 button straddle. Jack, King, Queen 10 double suited is one of the most sexy Omaha hands you can ever see. Outside like double suited aces like ace, king, queen, jack 10, things like that. Small blind raises it up to $25. Big blind decides he's going to call. We're very shorthand. I think there's like 4 or 5 people playing at this point. I pot it up to $105. The button player gets out of the way. A small blind player makes a call. And the big blind player, after thinking about it for a second or two, decides that it's a little bit too much. And he ends up folding his cards back to the dealer. So myself and the gentleman in seat 1 can play heads up. Now, guys, let me know what your favorite Omaha hand is. I don't know if this is my favorite Omaha hand, but it's definitely up there. Seeing this in a 4-handed, 5-handed game is even better because there's less cards out there for people to hit like crazy straights and things like that. Plus, there's just so much coverage. Anything from a 9 to an ace is in our range. So flop comes out, Queen 7-3 rainbow. The small blind player checks, and I decide to pot because I just have the range advantage. I make it 240. He goes all in for 360. I obviously can't fold, so I make the call. I put in too much money. We decide to go twice, and it comes with 2 cards up top, 2 cards down below. King and deuce up top, ace and 3 down below. He flips over his hand. He actually gets scooped in this $960 pot. And the final hand of the night, he had a wrap. He had 4, 5, 6, 7 in his hand. So he hit the 7, and any 4, 5, 6 would have given him the straight. 7 also would have given him the winning hand as well. Somehow I was lucky enough to fade everything. Don't know how I did that. I feel like I'm in his shoes most of the time, so I kind of, I feel for the guy because I have been there. But $960 coming my way, end up stacking him to end the night. And yeah, that's a good way to end the night. Let's go to the outro and see how we ended up doing. So we were only in for 300. We ended up cashing out with 800 in total. I gave some of the money back and ended up playing a couple more hands where, like I said, short-handed. We were raising like 25 plus pre-flop. So I gave out some more action before I ended up cashing out and leaving because the game broke, but won $500. Not too bad. Hit quads and a straight flush, made a couple bluffs where I didn't need to, ran queens into aces. That one hurt, so I think I make one less bluff that night. I could end up with some really good profit, but it is what it is. If you're not bluffing, you're not trying. Sometimes you win them, sometimes you don't. Just how the game of poker works. But I appreciate everyone being here. If you guys like the video, make sure to drop a sub and hit the like button if you don't mind. But it feels good to be back. I'm going to be back on my poker grind as well as my YouTube grind. So appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.